If you're in a leadership position, you've probably cemented the belief that you should always give clear instructions to your team members. You need to speak confidently in meetings, but then you find yourself constantly explaining, you are overthinking how you sound. You're sugarcoating everything just to be in good books with your colleagues. And you're also carrying the emotional weight of your team members. In all this, you're actually overlooking communication as a mental health tool. In this video, I'm sharing with you 7 communication skills that are not just about sounding clear or confident. They're about helping you to lead without losing you. Welcome back to my channel, and if we are meeting for the very first time, my name is Nancy. I'm an author and I'm also a workplace leadership trainer. So you'll mostly find me here discussing topics on matters of leadership, professional growth, career advancement, all the while protecting your mental and emotional well-being. So if this is the kind of content that resonates with you, kindly consider subscribing, press that notification bell, and you will be notified whenever I release a new video. Thank you so much for joining and growing this community. It goes a long way. Leadership will always come with pressure. That pressure to outdo your predecessors, the pressure to over-deliver, the pressure to be the best version of yourself. And the way you communicate with others, the way you communicate with yourself also matters. Depending on how you go about your own journey, it can either drain your energy or protect it. And the plan here is to build a strategy that gives you strength and sanity. So the first communication skill that we are going to embrace is work on articulation. You want to avoid over-explaining. Unspoken needs become internal pressure, and pressure can turn into anxiety and resentment. And all resentment. Most leaders struggle with articulation. You're here with 1,000 things running in your head. So you find yourself speaking for longer periods of time, but if you look closely, you're actually repeating your points. You're leaving the most important ones out. You're rambling through stuff, just trying to kill time. This happens mostly when you're addressing audiences of more than 2 people. In a team meeting or even in a Zoom call, over-explaining is always a sign of fear of judgment, fear of being seen as, fear of being seen in a different light, And the greater danger of poor articulation is that you can end up not just being misunderstood or misinterpreted, but you can also be misrepresented. Just think of the moments where you've said yes to a workmate's demands, but you are already overwhelmed. Think of the moments where you've opted to stay quiet in meetings for fear of speaking too much or even speaking with no end. But then you spent the rest of the day just overthinking and asking yourself what you should have actually said. Think of the moments where you slightly hinted at what you needed instead of just saying it, but then you felt hurt when no one picked up on it. This is what contributes to mental clutter, frustration, and even emotional exhaustion, because you constantly feel like you're doing too much, you're explaining too little, you're still not being heard, and this weight is not even yours to carry. I personally call it silent emotional labor. So trimming your words protects your energy. The moment you start focusing on articulating your words, you're going to find that you're more precise. You're going to find that you're able to drive the message home in a highly effective manner. Although if you're not used to this, you might actually have to build the muscle first. Just say less and let that be enough. My plate is full to capacity right now, but I'll let you know when I get a breather. I need the assignment done right this way to attract more investors. I'll not be available for the better part of the morning tomorrow, but I'll need you to take care of A, B, and C. That way you're practicing clear, clean communication. Skill number 2, invest in active listening. Communication is a two-way street. It's not just about you expressing yourself and your views, but also listening to others. It's not about staying quiet for quiet's sake. It's actually about giving your full attention to the other party, to the other person, with all your senses, without interrupting. You want to be present mentally, emotionally, verbally, and in that way, you're reducing misunderstandings and the tension that can grow from both parties, you and the other side. It actually sounds easy until you have a suggestion, a quick question, an addition, and the other party's mid-sentence, so you're afraid of forgetting your contribution when they finish speaking. Here is where patience comes in handy. What is your intent for listening? Are you listening to understand or to respond or to react or even to clarify information? Because when you listen to understand, you're going to find that you let the other person finish their thought process as you take the moment to digest the information before you finally jump in. Interrupting keeps you in reaction mode, but when you listen fully, you're going to find that you're in response mode, and this has more calming benefits. You're also going to find yourself responding with intention, not with emotions. So you'll be responding thoughtfully, not defensively, and this way you will avoid overthinking, as we've just discussed. Active listening also means putting away all distractions when in active communication. Just think of the moments where you've walked into your boss's office with a very pressing issue, and then they tell you, well, I can hear you, I can see you, but you can see their eyes darting between you and the computer. They're responding to an email here, a quick note there, cross-checking notifications on their phone, looking past you whenever they hear footsteps in the hallway. Eye contact and body language matter, even in virtual spaces. When you half listen or you listen just to respond, you may think you're actually saving on time, but then you'll end up spending more energy cleaning up the mess from the follow-up over everything that you did not understand. You may even have to fix the hurt feelings later in the process. So you're going to notice that when you truly listen, you'll literally experience reduced drama from having to guess what people really meant, and there'll be less tension in conversation because you're not asking yourself, did I say too much? Did I miss something important? Are they upset with me? Did I really exude confidence as a leader? Firefighting miscommunications can be exhausting, especially when you're trying to protect your peace of mind. So show understanding through nodding slowly and summarizing key points. So what I'm hearing is, it sounds like you're saying, just ask clarifying questions, so that you can fully understand. Can you just explain a little bit more what you meant by this? What would support look like for you in such a situation? The next skill that closely ties with this one is skill number 3. Stop assuming and start asking. The book that comes to mind right about now is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Assumptions are one of the biggest sources of mental stress at work. Are they ignoring me? They look like they're upset with me. Do they even have the right to be upset? What did I do? What happened? In his book, he concludes that making assumptions leads to misunderstandings, unnecessary suffering, and at worst, broken communication. We assume that we know what the others think or feel, and then we act on those assumptions without seeking clarification. And when it comes to leadership in particular, this can damage trust, and it can also cause emotional burnout because you're constantly reacting to stories that you've made up and concluded in your mind. So if you want to free up your mind from unnecessary emotional drama, your best bet is to just ask and cut off the overthinking. Just think of the moments where you've replayed a meeting in your head thinking, oh my goodness, was she actually throwing shade at me? Was it so hard for them to just call me on the side? Or maybe I should have said this thing this way. Maybe I should have put it differently. That emotional real estate that you're spending here carrying all these stories that are not even true is going to leave your body reacting to emotions as though they were true. Then you stress over that which was never an issue in the first place. You make reactive decisions based on a version of the story that you created yourself and not actually what happened. Assumptions are heavy. Clarity is light. So when you ask instead of assuming, you're literally gifting yourself emotional closure, and that is gold for mental health. Something along the lines of, hey, can we just have a quick chat about what went down in that meeting room? Or I just need to clarify a few things so that I know that I'm not making my own conclusions. And while you're at it, you want to take it upon yourself to understand and acknowledge the feelings and perspectives of the other parties without playing emotional bias. Just show genuine concern, provide support when needed, and you'll see that you'll be gaining trust and respect in the process. Skill number 4, use boundaries as your emotional filter, not as a wall. Just look at it this way. Every time you say yes when you mean to say no, you're abandoning a little piece of yourself. And then over time, these little pieces add up just like your children's piggy bank until you're left resentful, you're left overwhelmed and even wondering, how did I get here? Boundaries are not meant to be walls that you build to push people away. They're there to protect what's within. So in leadership, it's not all about managing your time. It's important to protect your energy at all times. And when you're constantly available, when you're constantly responding, when you're constantly giving, it might heftily cost you. It might cost your peace of mind. So boundaries are the filters that allow what's aligned to flow in and keep what's draining you from taking root. Just try this next time when you feel like a demand is a bit misaligned with your current state. I'm not available at 5 p.m., but I'll pick this up fasting tomorrow morning. Or right now I'm at capacity. Let's just circle back next week. And the beauty of setting boundaries is that you'll finally stop running on empty. And the short and long of it also is that you're putting your foot down and you're going to find that your energy is not as scattered in a million different directions. And you can now breathe easy. And that's the power of protecting your peace. Then the not so pretty side of this coin is that when you start setting boundaries, some of your colleagues might not like it and they may push back, especially if they're always used to you saying yes. And this might feel uncomfortable for you at first. You may even worry that you're letting some people down. Discomfort is temporary. Burnout is not. People adjust. So you just want to serve as the best version of yourself, you know. Your safety comes first, as I was taught, you know. So when you honor your boundaries, when you stay true to yourself, the more peace you will be creating. And this is the kind of peace that becomes the foundation of sustainable, emotionally healthy leadership. Skill number 5, personalized emotional regulation. You know, I call it giving yourself permission to press pause. In most high pressure leadership roles, there's this unspoken rule that you're supposed to have all the answers when it comes to you managing your role. Any pause, any moment of uncertainty is considered a weakness. It's considered incompetence, a lack of control. Though not many will tell you to your face, but if you look closely, responding in real time to everything is one of the fastest ways to emotionally exhaust yourself. The pressure to always be on, to always have a solution, to always respond immediately is going to keep your nervous system in a constant state of alert. And then you find yourself making decisions that you're not necessarily grounded in, just to keep your head above the water. Taking a pause is emotional regulation in action. You know, I'll definitely get back to you on that. I'd like to sit with it before giving you a concrete response. Let's have a chat later in the day. You're not stalling. You're not being indecisive. You're actually regulating. You're giving your mind, body, and emotions that chance to catch up with each other. You're literally calming your emotional triggers and you're reconnecting with your values. You're assessing what's really needed and doing away with what feels like noise. And that way, you can choose a response that aligns with your leadership style and not just your mood. Embracing the pause is a powerful move. That is where leadership breathes, and it's where you'll find yourself exercising emotional discipline. Just imagine the cost of skipping the pause, you know, responding without pausing, especially in emotionally charged situations. You run the risk of agreeing to something that you did not mean to commit to in the first place. And you may say something reactive also, and then start overthinking it later, like, why did I even say that? Was it so hard for me to just take a minute? Now I have to backtrack. That is the kind of mental chatter that is going to drain you emotionally. It's going to take your emotional energy, sometimes even more than the actual task. So the next time that you feel like the pressure to respond is there and you have to respond immediately, take a step back, consciously take that pause to protect your peace of mind, for your clarity, and also to highlight your ability to lead with intention and not tension. That's the whole essence of leading with emotional discipline. So if I've mentioned a skill that you're already working on, like at the moment, please clue me in the comment section below. I'd really love to hear from you. I'd love to read from you and see if there are any of these skills that resonate with you. Skill number 6, use eye contact as a yardstick to communication. You know, in leadership, it's possible to have a packed calendar, emotions running high, people pulling you in every direction. And in the middle of it all, your eyes can actually play for or against you. How you connect with others, how you connect with yourself. Do you stay true to yourself in the process? Eye contact tells a lot. You can tell if someone is guarded or open. You can tell if someone is present or distracted. You can tell if someone is coming from a place of collaboration or competition. And this is the fastest way to gauge emotional safety. So when you pause and you look someone straight in the eye, you're not just checking in with them, you're also checking in with the emotional temperature of the conversation. And then when you're working in environments where the pressure is literally over the roof, this kind of insight is going to help you regulate before you escalate. Just look at it as your own inbuilt emotional radar. And also, in the same token, when things feel chaotic, when things feel like out of place, eye contact is going to ground you. It's going to anchor you in the moment. It's going to pull you out of your racing thoughts, of this anxious planning, out of your head, into the moment, into the right now. And that's where emotional control lives. It's not very easy to spiral mentally when you're making real steady connection with another human being. That moment of shared presence when the only thing that rings in your mind is, I don't have to fix everything. I just have to be present, fully present, here and now. Though you also want to go about eye contact carefully, because if you're not emotionally regulated, it can actually feel overwhelming. If you're feeling tense, if you're feeling defensive or even depleted, eye contact can make you feel exposed. It can make you feel vulnerable. It can make you feel irritated. Real connection requires emotional capacity, and this is something that you need before you can give it out. So check in with yourself first before locking eyes. Am I calm? Am I ready to connect? Do I need a moment before engaging? And you just might overread the other person's face or even feel like you're being watched instead of being seen. So you can see that eye contact is a subtle but very, very powerful way of regulating how you feel before your emotions take the wheel. So in the same process, you also want to work on the harmony between your eyes and all the other facial expressions and your entire body language. Just let your tone, your pace of speech, your hand, your body movements, your posture, they all need to be in agreement with your eyes, in alignment with your eyes, so that you suffocate the need to perform around others and embrace emotional honesty with yourself. Skill number 7, embrace effective public speaking. Public speaking is not about being perfect. It's about being clear and, most importantly, about being free. So when your voice feels safe to use, your mind gets to rest. When you're unsure of how to express yourself in public, you'll either shrink in public, you'll either ramble, or even avoid speaking altogether. That moment when you have to rely on over-explaining, over-apologizing, going silent when you have a valid point, a valid contribution, everything that drains your mental energy. And then comes the emotional tax, the self-doubt, the frustration. And if you're in leadership, there's no two-way about it. There's no two-way around public speaking. You cannot avoid it. So you want to look at it as not just a way of being heard. It is also about being secure in your voice, in your persona. And the beauty of investing in effective public speaking is that you will have the confidence to say what you mean without overthinking it. You're going to speak once and it lands. And you're also going to find yourself, instead of shying away from meetings, these difficult conversations, you'll find yourself walking right towards them. And this gives you more control, which means that you will have less mental noise afterwards. And you'll not be second guessing whether you sounded too harsh, whether your explanations landed, what you should or should not have said. These are the moments that you will start showing up authentically. You will be standing on your authenticity because you'll be grounded in your voice, in your persona, which means that you will be speaking with presence, with calmness, with connection. You'll not have to perform or even wear a persona. And that, personally, I believe, is an awesome way to relieve pressure. And when people trust your voice, they're going to give you room to lead them without needing to prove yourself. That's peace. That's power. Just knowing that you can clearly express your thoughts and your needs, that's embodying leadership. And as you get comfortable about public speaking, you're also going to find a lot of strength in using simple, easy words to express your message over the sophisticated ones that not everyone in the room understands. And that way you become cultivating the real connection between you and your teammates, you and your colleagues. What every leader should desire is impact. So practice delivering clear, engaging presentations. Use stories, examples to illustrate your points. Use your voice as a key in your leadership journey to lift and empower others and not to be an obstacle, a padlock in your own path. If you got value from this video, if it hit home, please don't forget to like, to subscribe for more leadership and mental wellness content just like this one. Share it with a friend who may get value, may also get value from it, you know. And if you have a moment, please check out this video on the 7 signs that you are drained emotionally in your leadership role. It goes hand in hand with this video, and it's going to help you put certain perspectives in certain aspects into perspective. See you on the next one. Bye.